Okay, we are now streaming live on my Facebook page. So welcome everyone who's joining us today onto our live business group training. Welcome to Praveen and to Vivian, who are who are joining us live for this training, and you're going to get an opportunity to ask questions as we go through the training, which is pretty awesome. We've got Sangeeta joining us just now. Hello, Sangeeta. Hello, Sangeeta. Let me unmute you. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? You're looking so pretty, Ariane.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you are. I noticed that, but I only thought it. I didn't say it.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
I'm trying to get into the habit. I have loads of compliments, but I just kind of keep them in my head.
Oh, I just say it out. It doesn't matter who, where, what. It all just comes out now.
Thank you. Sangeeta, I was just saying we're now streaming live onto Facebook. So anything you say is live on Facebook. And this session is recorded for training purposes and for promotion as well. So just so you are aware, yes?
I should have, tied myself and looked prettier. Never mind.
You look fine.
You look your lovely self, Sangeeta. And with all your beautiful artwork behind you, Praveen, I've noticed your, what is it you have actually behind you, Praveen?
Yeah. Well, up here?
Yes.
Oh, these qualifications like Reiki and my martial arts qualifications. And that's a little sign that says, and so our adventure begins.
Hey, fabulous. So let's start our adventure of Tuesday. We're focusing on Facebook groups and the famous outreach with a Facebook group. So we already covered some of it last week, but we have Caris joining us.
Hey.
Hey.
Caris coming in there in the last second.
And Christina as well.
Where are they?
Hello, Christina.
Wow.
Hello, Christina. Let me unmute you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I had a technical issue.
Oh, well done. And Caris is still joining us.
There she is.
Here she is.
Come on, Caris, show yourself.
Hey, hello, Caris. Let me unmute Caris. Hello, Caris.
Hi.
Looking lovely. Different hairstyle today.
Yeah, you look quite sweet.
And get out of bed to look.
Oh,
today.
We wouldn't have known. We think it's a new hairstyle.
Yeah.
No, we don't know.
And look at Christina with all her beautiful artwork behind her.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm loving it.
That was a lovely picture of yours, Ariane, that you put on Facebook. That was nice. The iris.
Thank you. Oh, yes. I did it at Sangeeta's workshop, art workshop. So,
it's Christina's, yes.
Yes. So, welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of Facebook Outreach. And well done, everyone, for joining me live for this 30-minute training session. We're going to get cracking straight away. I'm going to mute everyone so I can just go through everything. Well done for making it today. I know everyone's very busy, but it's very important that you attend in person because I get to share things that you might not be able to catch just by the email or by the replay. So let me get started by muting everyone and sharing my screen. Can I have a thumb up if you're ready to learn some new things today? Yeah, thank you. Vivian, you can send a virtual thumb up. Vivian is having some techie problem. I'm sure she's ready. Just to remind everyone, this session is being live streamed on Facebook. It's recorded for training and marketing purposes as well. So thank you, Vivian, for the thumb up. Awesome. Okay, let's get cracking. So we were talking about We were talking about Facebook outreach last week, and we're going to continue with that. I know that some of you have already started some of the homework, and that's really good. Remember, it's an ongoing process. So if you haven't finished or only started a few of the tasks from last week, you can still keep going in your own time. You're good, okay? I just want to share more information today, and the main information I want to share today is on this page, okay? So, do we have someone else? We have Leon joining us as well. Let me see. Hello, Leon. Hello, Leon. Let me unmute Leon. Connecting our audio. Hi, Leon. Welcome to Tuesday Business Facebook Group. How are you, Leon?
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Ah, perfect.
Well
Hello,
done,
everybody.
Hello, Leon. Welcome to our group. Very glad you can join us on this live. Leon, I will introduce a bit. Hopefully, you can join us on Friday, Leon, as well, where we can get a bit more chatting. That's really awesome that you've joined us today. We're going to cover and continue what we have started last week on Facebook outreach. So I'm sure that's something you will be interested in learning a little bit more about. So let me get cracking. Remember, we are live streaming on Facebook. This session is recorded for training and marketing purposes. I just shared my screen just a minute ago. This is what we're going to cover for the next 20 minutes. Facebook group organic outreach, do's and don'ts. And I will start with the don'ts because there are quite a few things that should be no when you're interacting in those Facebook groups. So let's just remind ourselves, the reason why we are interacting and connecting on those Facebook groups is to get more reach and to connect with more people, more potential, I should say, more potential customers, more potential clients. So this is the general goal, is to create new leads for your business, reaching out to Facebook groups. And we call it organic because we don't need to pay for this system. It's completely free of charge. It just requires some of your time and some consistency. We'll cover that as well. So let me get cracking. We've got quite a few other information here, as you can see, that I would like to touch on, if possible. If not, we will stick to the do's and the don'ts. So I will email this to you after the session today, and we'll allow for some questions as well. Are we ready? Thumbs up, everyone, please. Thank you. Okay, so last week we said try to join 3 groups, 3 Facebook groups as your homework. That's where your potential customers or clients might be. So I hope you have joined those groups already, that you have requested to join those groups. If you haven't, you still have time to do this week. Remember, those are groups you want to choose up to anything above 1,000 people in the group, so not too small. Anything 1,000 is of interest, and they must be groups where your potential customers are. So once you get into the group, the first thing you should do is read the group's rules, the group rules. Make sure you do. You need to know what is allowed, what is not allowed in the group. So this is the first no. Don't join a group without reading the group rules first. Different administrators have different rules, so different groups operate in slightly different ways. And the reason I'm starting with the don'ts is because if you don't comply to those etiquette rules, non-spoken rules of Facebook group behaviors, you might simply get kicked out of those groups. So it's very important for you to know, although they're not written black and white, to know of those rules, do's and don'ts. So become familiar with each group rules. They will tell you what they expect from you joining the group, and very often they will ask you questions as you join the group as well. Don't promote your business is a big one. Listen before you post, and we will come back to that. Engage in the conversation in the group. So just liking posts, just liking or heart liking is simply not enough in groups. You really need to get engaged and comment, share your expertise in those groups. If you feel that you need to disagree with one of the posts or one of the comments, please make sure you mention that this is your point of view or this is another way of looking at it. So those are little nuances that are very important, especially when you're writing in those Facebook groups. Don't post any problems on those Facebook groups. For example, if you're having a bad day, this is not the place to dump your problems in groups. It might sound silly, but I have seen it in groups. And again, the person who does that might simply be kicked out of the group. Don't add people to your Facebook group or for that matter, WhatsApp group without their permission. Always please ask for permission before adding people to your groups. Do not share your Facebook group links. So if you have your own groups and you're participating in some other people's group, do not share your link of your group unless you are prompted to do so. So there might be a post similar to what I did in my group Limitless Business Owners, where I said please share your events, your pages, etc. So look for the threads. We call them threads. We see those posts. So that's a very important one as well. Otherwise, you will be classified as a spammer, and you will eventually be kicked out of the group. I will go to the do's, what you can do instead of not doing those things. Also, don't invite all the person that you're connecting with on those groups. Don't invite them straight away to your groups. For example, if you're having a meditation group or a not group, don't invite them on the first approach. So it's very much like dating in a way. You need to build up, you need to create a relationship, and then you can privately invite them to join you somewhere else, for example, in your group, or visit one of your landing pages, for example, or blogs. And we will go through that in the do's. What else do we have in the don'ts? I really want to cover the don'ts first because those are very important to know. Once you have a relationship with someone, enjoy the group, and always ask permission. Always ask permission. It's common behavior, but it's easily forgotten when you get into conversations online. So what can you do? If you can't do any of those things, what can you do? So you can participate in the group. We mentioned this earlier. Participate in the group. one very important word is consistent. You have to be consistent when you participate in group. And this is going to be your task number 1 for this week, which is allocate a day and a time in the week for your Facebook outreach. For example, it could be on a Wednesday, on a Thursday. Choose 1 hour during the day where you're going to be reaching out and connecting and interacting in those Facebook groups. Okay, so allocate that time. I know this is something that we mentioned when we talked about productivity, being productive. So allocate a time slot. It will also help you out being consistent. Just to share with you all, I allocate 1 hour a day between 6:30 and 7:30 because of the rest of my schedule. So that's the time that is the best for me. It works out as well for American groups, which are open a bit later. So it depends on your schedule. It depends on the actual group as well, when it's active or not. Although you can just catch up the following day where you left things up. But as long as you allocate your time to, you don't need to stay on one group. You can scroll, go through comments, go through posts very quickly, and especially stay focused on the purpose of you being there and what you're trying to achieve. We're going to go through that. So this is going to be task number 1. Allocating 1 hour, for example, during the day. It could be every day, or it could be once a week or twice a week. It's up to you how you want to start. Let me go back to the main screen. And can I invite you all to unmute yourselves if you have any questions so far, please? Sangeeta,
that's very good. I think it's just about consistently visiting those groups. I do find that there's just way too many groups, and you just get really bogged down. So maybe just choose 1 or 2 and then just consistently focus on those.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very, very good pointer, Sangeeta. Leon, Caris, Christina, any question or any thoughts so far?
Yes, I agree. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, please, it's fine.
Leon?
Yeah, so I was just saying I agree, because we'll all receive, so many group requests each week, and then sometimes you feel obliged to join all these groups, and then you have the notifications, and then you find, 1 hour, 2 hours gone, and you've just been scrolling through groups, liking, looking at posts, and then you get taken away from, the purpose or your focus. So like it's been mentioned, if we can streamline that and give it the best that you can, and then if it's 45 minutes on one group, maybe 15 minutes on the other group, or something like that, but whatever works for me will maybe not work for someone else, and vice versa. So it's just finding, like you said, what fits into your schedule.
Absolutely. Well done, Leon. Christina, Caris, Pravid, any question or any thoughts so far? Christina, you were
good.
All good, Caris?
That's good. All very clear.
Christina, you were saying something earlier?
Oh no, I was just gonna ask if you could just clarify about threads, just to refresh, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. So what we call a thread on social media, especially on Facebook, is when someone shares a post online, and then following that post, they ask, please comment below, for example. And we call threads whatever are all the comments below it.
Okay.
So for example, if I go back to if you remember in the Facebook group Limitless Small Business Owner, I had shared that post asking you all, please share your events pages below. So this is what we call a thread. And again, you have to be mindful that there's a lot of conversation going in groups. Therefore, it's very important to keep everything structured, not only for the admin of the group, but for everyone else. So everyone else is able to find everything easily, okay?
Okay.
So let me just carry on moving forward what we can do in Facebook groups. Now that we know what we shouldn't do, what to avoid being kicked out or labeled as spammers. So let me mute everyone and share the rest of the screen. So what can you do? We're going back to on the top here, if you can see. So make sure you choose the right groups. That's very important. You don't want to waste your time in a group where at the end of the day, you're not going to find potential clients. You need to be in a group. If you're going to be doing Facebook group outreach, you need to be there with a purpose in mind. Obviously, you need to do it in the right way, but you need to have that purpose in mind, finding how you can help people there with your services and your products. So they obviously need to be there in the first place. We talked about it, be consistent. And the only way that I found so far is to allocate a time and a day to doing a repetitive task, which is getting involved in the conversation and progressing with the conversation. Remember, it's all about consistency. It's all about small steps. When people see you interacting and sharing value in the same group, you will start to stand out. So it's all about consistency. It's all about those little steps. We were saying earlier, it's okay if you haven't done the tasks you haven't that were allocated last week. You can always do them the following week. Little step, little by little, progressing in the right direction. And that applies to everything, applies in business too. Participate in the conversation, put it in your diary, promote yourself only in the threads. We've just covered that. Give more than what you take. Always give more than what you take. Praise others. So make sure that you always praise others, other people's points of view. It's really good manners in a group. Be helpful. This will help not only the people you're sharing your expertise with. It doesn't have to be very long. It can be one tip that you're sharing. Be helpful. This will help your credibility, and it will also make you shine as an expert in your field. If you want to get in touch with people outside that group, you can do, probably not at the beginning. I'm referring again to creating a relationship here, maybe or maybe on the second or third time. You can send them a message. Keep it personal. Don't do a group message. Keep it personal. Address them by their name, and ask them permission to share. So, for example, you might want to say, I've noticed in the conversation that you have been sharing online that you were interested in meditation. I would like to invite you to my group if this is something you might be interested. So this is an example. It could be, it could apply to any other things that you have. For example, I'm contacting some of the connections I've made in the group to invite them in the Friday chats, for example. Again, I don't do it the first time. I don't do it the second time. I create a connection first. Does it make sense? Thumbs up? Very good, thank you. So we're down to think of a blog. Yes, a very important and useful tip. So you can reply to very quick comments if you see something you can help people with. If you see that you can help people with, you can simply share a quick comment. But you can also share some of your blog posts. And what I mean by that is, that's not here. It's here. So for example, if you see, let me share closer here. So for example, here, I've got some notes on my phone, and you can keep those in your folder on Google Mail, for example, as well, where I have blogs that I have written on my blog, which come up in conversations in group. So I have them to hand, and if I click on them, I will have the link of the blog. I can also easily copy and paste some of it and share in the group. So blogs are a great way to share your expertise. Why? Because you have already thought about the subject. So for example, here I have 10 ways you can support small businesses during lockdown, information on liability and privacy forms, inspirational quotes for business. So things like this, you can start to create through your blogs things that might come up regularly in groups. So you don't have to create all of them in one go. You can create them as they come along in the group. So it's a really good way to build content as well. And you can also build backlinks that will send them from your blog to your website, for example, or to a freebie that you might have to share to create, to add to your mailing list. I have some other things that I have at hand, and I keep them on my mobile phone because when I do my Facebook group outreach, I do it during my downtime, 1 hour. I do it on my phone. This is why I have my notes that I can refer to and share on my phone as well, on my iPhone notes. But you can do it from your desktop. If you allocate that hour on your desktop, you can use all this information that you save and can refer to in your Google folder that we mentioned last week, if you remember. Yes? Thank you. I've got the nod. Okay, going back to what we were saying. So blogs are a great way to share information. So you're not simply going to share the link. No, you're going to give them a little, maybe 1 point or 2 of your blog in the comment, and then you can say you can read more in my blog. This is okay to do. Make sure that the blog content is useful. So you don't want to waste people's time. Oh, that wasn't much to learn in the blog. So make sure the content of the blog is useful as well. So we are here. Think of your blog as your library of knowledge. And again, you're going to build this slowly. And it's also by you sharing information and skills and expertise in the groups, you're actually at the same time going to create content for your business that you can also share in some other platforms later. So you're really maximizing your productivity. You're really doing some great things here. So blog is really good. If you remember last week, we were saying one of the great benefits of using a Google Mail is the ability to use the blog from Google. So then you can link, if you want, your Google Mail blog to your website, but that's something else. I know that it's already past. conscious of the time. We're nearly there with the do's, and then we've got some questions coming up. So blog, very good one. Build them slowly. As you see questions coming up and you know that, oh, this is something I can help with, instead of just replying straight away, you can take this opportunity to create a blog post. This creates a win-win situation. They get their problem solved or their answer solved, and you also get traffic to your blog. Remember, creating traffic to your blog and creating traffic to your websites will help you rank higher in the Google search. And this is really what you want. Participate in the Facebook group as a regular thing. We mentioned that earlier. I see people who just participate in Facebook group just on the promo days. If you don't know what those promo days are, it's when admins of the group say, today's promo day, please promote your business. And this is where you can share your Facebook groups or your website or anything of your business. So this is not, you don't want to go in those groups just to comment and share about your business. You really want to be a participant, a valuable participant in the group. And I have made some really good connections in other groups by being a top participator. I have been asked to speak to some of their events. I have made connections, real connections with some of the members. And at the end of the day, this is what it's all about: creating connections and getting them into your funnel of possibly getting them interested in your product, of your services. Remember, out of 8 people that you connect, probably only 1 will eventually become interested in what you have to offer. So it takes about 8 connections to get 1 possible interest. So it is a lot of work, but it's free. It's not costing you anything except for your time, and you are growing your business and your visibility at the same time. So really, it's a win-win for everyone. Build connection and always reciprocate the support you get. Okay, that was the last point. So what do we have to do for this week? Let's have a look. So number 1, nice and easy, allocate a day and an hour during the week. It could be more, it could be every day, it could be once a week, it could be twice a week, whatever fits your schedule. Work around your schedule, put it in there, and be consistent. Be consistent, put an alarm on your phone and allocate that time. This is what you're doing. So I will ask you what slots you have chosen to do your Facebook outreach. Then number 2 is have already some content ready that you have to share. We talked about it last week. Have a little intro ready. Like you see here, I have ready-made little intros of myself as a business owner that I have kept on the side, either on my phone notes or on my Google folder. And this way I can easily copy and paste it when I introduce myself. I don't have to type it all the time. I can just go, grab, copy, and paste it. Sometimes I made little changes. But here I have 1, 2, 3. If you look at the screen, 1, 2, I have 2 or 3 different versions of introducing myself. So I would like you to prepare a little introduction of yourself. How are you going to introduce yourself in the group? So that's part of task 2. If you have any freebies to offer, so it could be you would like to invite them to your art workshop, or to a taster session. It could be free consultation as well. So have your freebies ready as well, and I have them as well in my phone. I have a little description ready. I have actually built those to refer them to my mailing list as well. This is something we can talk about at a later stage, but already have a little a few sentences about how you would like to invite them. So what are your freebies? This is part of task 2, expertise article. And also, have you written any articles or blog that you could possibly share? So already have 1 or 2 articles on your expertise you have ready, handy to share. So this is part of task 2. I think if you have introduction of yourself and what would you have to offer, that would be already amazing. So prepare something for next week, please. Task 2. And task 3, it covers what we did last week. Join at least 3 Facebook groups or more if you have time. Choose when you're going to do the outreach. Read the rules of the group. Introduce yourself. Comments, make sure you interact, and update your tracking sheet. You don't have to use the tracking sheet that I've shared last week, although it's a good way to keep track of where you are with everything. Especially, I would start keeping a track when you see that you're creating a connection with someone. We call them warm leads. So they're warmer leads. What have you so for example, you've been in a conversation with a particular person of the group, and what have you offered? What have they responded? So you can keep track on that spreadsheet. Okay. Stop sharing. Okay, question time. Time's up. Question time. Let me unmute. Question time, anyone?
Yeah, it's me without the picture.
Yes, Vivian.
I've joined quite a few groups, and a lot of them, there seems to be some standard rules that Facebook put out, and they all seem to have absolutely no self-promotion. And while you're talking things like my blog or things like that, wouldn't that construe as self-promotion? Is there a fine line, or how can you get around that? Or
yes, it's all about there are spammers. There are people who just go on groups, various groups, and just go and share their blog links or website links, and this is what group admins don't want. They don't want spammers. But if it's in an organic conversation where you're truly having a conversation with someone that you have shared something, it takes time. All of it takes time. So you cannot rush things, and you cannot be it's really a fine line, Vivian. It's not.
Yeah, because how can you be, because even if you say, oh yeah, well, after you've created a contact with someone and you've built up, doesn't that still count as self-promotion in terms of the rules of the group?
No, because at the end of the day, the group is to create connection within a group, to share value, which through all the things that I've said, you will be doing. You're sharing your expertise, you're sharing value, you're adding value to each other. And it's absolutely normal to create relationships out of this. It's a natural progression. It's a natural progression. if the group clearly says no advertise, what is it that you saw, for example, Vivian?
Well, most of them start off with, because they're anxiety and depression groups and they call themselves support groups, and the first rule usually is absolutely no self-promotion.
So it doesn't stop you from engaging in conversation, and that's what we were talking about. So no promotion.
If at some point I was to say, like, after connecting, well, actually I'm a therapist, doesn't that come under self-promotion because it's even further down the line?
No, you could say, as part of my job, this is what I do. I can certainly help you with I have tips to share if this is something you're interested in. So it's really in the way that on how you go about it.
Okay.
You're not going to say what would you say, Vivian?
Well, I wouldn't actually come out and say I'm a therapist. I'd say that I help people with anxiety and depression.
So it sounds too commercial.
Okay.
So don't pitch. If they say no selling, everyone knows about the elevator pitches. Don't pitch. It has to flow organically in the conversation.
Right, I'm with you.
This is what I'm trying to say.
You kind of feel it, don't you? You kind of it's an intuitive thing rather than, because again, I love, my favorite topic is left brain and right brain. It's not a left brain thing where do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. You kind of feel it and you know it. Like you said about dating, you kind of know when to.
It has to flow, yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
exactly. So you're talking about flow. We're talking about organic conversation. It's really a conversation you're having with someone over a cup of coffee. Think about it. Think about it in that way. This is what you do. So forget networking, selling mode. Forget about it. And this is what you would get kicked out for. You're going in there to converse and share, add value. This is really what it's all about. Converse, share value. Organically, people will start to connect with you, and it is at that point you can message them, directly message them, not the first time, not the second time. It takes time to say, look, and actually a lot of them will go and check your Facebook profile. If they see that you're commenting some really interesting tips and giving value, then they will go and check your profile out. And this is something I really want to share very quickly that I have added at the top. Okay, be ready. You have to be ready. You have to, people will check, because you're joining the groups as you, the person, you have to have your Facebook profile up to date. But it also needs to reflect somehow that you are also a business owner, you're running a business. And someone is here. Oh yes, Caris is back. It's like a knock on the door. Ta-da! So, bless you. So here I've shown you the difference between my personal profile and my professional business page. So you can really feel the difference, right? This is more casual, and this is, I'm on business mode here. This is my business page. But still here, I'm mentioning, if I can share, can you see on the right side here the description? Find out more about my business and find out more. Can you read that?
Yeah.
So this is on my personal banner, and my picture as well is more casual. But I also mentioned, find out more about my business and how I can help you launch and grow your small business. And I've added the link with using the @ sign, so that by clicking, they can straight away go to my Facebook page. Also, a good thing to do is because those people seeing your comments on the group, you might want to share we mentioned that last time, you might want to share some posts on your Facebook profile yourself that also mention about your business. Sorry. So for example, here this morning, I was saying getting those vitamins in while finalizing yesterday CCJM blog post, and I shared that on my private profile because I wouldn't share something like this on my business page, but somehow I've linked it. So the reason I mentioned this is because people seeing you in the Facebook groups will check you out on your private profile. That's one of the first things they will check. So make sure, whatever you do, make sure you clean out your personal profile, and they might actually ask you for connecting. So Facebook friend request. Let me stop sharing here. Does it make sense?
Yeah, lovely. Just a quick question which came up. There was a couple of groups I was joining, and shush, it gave me, it's because I'm talking, he wants to, so it gave me, shush, gave me the option to join as myself or as my Facebook page, which really surprised me. There were two groups that did that. One of them I joined as myself and one of them joined as my business page. Do you have any comments on that? Should you stick to personal or?
Okay, majority of the time, groups only allow personal people to join. Majority of the time. I don't mind people joining my group as a business because we are a community of small business owners. Therefore, I'm happy for you to promote yourself as a business. It's up to the administrator of the group.
Well, they already gave the option. So as I'm saying, like, I'd like to join the group, it says, do you want to join as you or your page? And I just thought, oh, yes. I don't know.
So
I assume your page then, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, I would say your page, if they give you that option.
Okay.
It will allow people to go straight directly. It's making your life easy.
Yeah.
You're actually advertising your business straight away. So make sure your page is up to scratch.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
Well done. Anyone else? Any other question?
Oh, just to ask, so what's your opinion on if I think you call them threads, or even on our group, the Facebook group, as you do more and more different posts and the older ones get pushed to the back, do you find people bother going back to the older ones, or is it you really need to stay in the up-to-date ones?
So to answer your question, it's up to the administrators. They can bump up the post if they want something to come back up at the top.
Right.
But what is your question for you as a participant?
So if I'm going to add something into a post that's already kind of gone down, is there any motivation to do that? I mean, is it going to get?
Because people will get notified of comments.
Okay.
If they are following that particular post. So if Sangeeta, for example, has commented on a post and you go and comment on the same post, Sangeeta will get a notification that you have also commented.
Gotcha. Okay, I got that. Thank you.
I believe that's how it works.
Yes.
Although things change a lot. This is my understanding at the moment.
Yes, disclaimer.
Disclaimer, yes.
And I just want to address the thing that was asked before, which is really nice. Again, when I was in my 20s, I had too much energy to really take it on board, but I was always taught, learn to attract, not promote. But that's not always easy. It's an easy thing to tell people to do it, but whether or not you're able to do it, it just requires more patience to build the relationships, to build the connection, the trust.
It takes time. It takes time. I only see sometimes it takes 6 months down the line until someone in a group or the actual group admin comes to you, approaches you. It might take up to 6 months. It might take 1 month or less. It's all about connections. Imagine you are there to help people. It also varies according on what you have to offer and service with. I think things that require more trust from people will take more time to reach people. Things that are, for example, dance fitness or fitness exercise, this will be much quicker response. But things that involve more level of trust will take a little bit longer.
Got to enjoy it. Got to enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process. I mean, it's amazing. You're having conversation with people. You're helping people. You're helping them getting unstuck with only one comment that you're making. Imagine that. You can reach them anywhere around, from any part of the world, just by helping them out on that Facebook group that you are connecting on. So really see it as a win-win. And again, you're like Vivian, you mentioned, I think it was Friday, you're getting to know your potential clients as well. What keeps coming up? What problem, what issues, challenges do your potential customers or clients keep having? This might help you to create or adjust your existing services or products. It also will help you to create new content. You see people with comments, let me write a blog on this. Let me share my opinion on things. So really see all the advantage of being part of that conversation.
Getting to know them.
One last question, and then we'll wrap up.
No question.
No question. Everyone's crystal clear.
All very clear.
It's great.
All right.
Oh yes, I do have a question.
Yes, Sangeeta.
How can I add 4 more hours to the day to do all these other tasks?
How can you add all that? What's that?
Extra time. It's like, time just passes so quickly.
Okay, the answer is schedule. Allocate
and stick
time.
to the schedule. But every day is so different, Aryan. That's what I find the problem here. If I say, okay, every day from this time to this time, I'll do this, but then, there's things that come up. So you have to keep changing your schedule every day. And it's like,
Okay, so to answer this, I would say don't overload yourself. Keep it realistic. What can you realistically do? If it's only once a week, Sangeeta, it's good. You have to remember everything that you do, every little step that you do will take you in the right direction as long as you keep going. So instead of saying, right, I'm going to do this every day 1 hour, and you fail miserably because you're overloaded with everything else, say, I will do this once a week on Friday, 5 p.m. for 1 hour. It's much more easily achievable and doable. And by you feeling a sense of achievement, you will stay consistent. It's just like with everything else. When you start seeing results, you will keep going and keep doing it. So
consistency, I find, is helpful. The consistency. And I don't beat myself up. I let it roll over. If I miss something today, I'll roll it on to the next day or whenever I'm next available, and just keep it going.
Absolutely. I want to say really well done, everyone, with your past homework. Really well done. I think you have to give yourselves some credit. Well done. I want to thank you. Well done, Vivian. I can see you clapping. Thank you for your testimonials and reviews. I've got these. I might chase some of you for just a little tweak or two, but thank you so much. Please remember to help each other. We're part of this group here. help each other. I know that Nina, who couldn't join us today, is setting something up for all of you guys.
Hey.
She's got something special coming up. So we are here to help each other as a group. If you know anyone else who might benefit from this, I'm only running those Tuesday training online groups until the end of June for free.
I've passed a couple on to you, Ariane. I don't know if they've gotten back to you yet or they've phoned you up. I've passed 2 people on.
Thank you, Praveen. I haven't yet.
Okay.
So yes, please do make use of this group for free for until the end of June, and please share with everyone else.
Lovely. Thank you, Ariane. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ariane.
My pleasure. I had a note here. No, that's not.
Ariane, could I ask you a quick question at the end, just privately, or maybe I could call you later or something?
You can message me later. I have an appointment.
Okay.
To send.
Yeah, whenever it's convenient.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. If you have any question, please Facebook message me or reply to my email. That's no problem at all. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.
And I'll email you the templates.
Bye, Karis. Bye, Sangeeta. See you, Christina.
Bye.
Bye.
Karis.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.